Special live eye this morning here.
Yeah, where is Dawn? Is she? Oh.
She's right over here. We get to meet the crew today.
Hey guys, I'm right here in the house. Yes, it's been a while since I've been in the studio, and it's nice we're all together this morning. But you know, there are some things that you might not know about your BT host. So coming up next, we're gonna learn a little bit more about Michelle McDermott. What makes her tick? Did she always want to be in television? Ooh, the hard questions. Might have an Oprah moment. I'm gonna make you cry, Michelle. Stay with us. You're watching BT. Truly behind the scenes, and actually, just so our viewers get a better perspective of where you are in relationship to where Michelle sits. There you are, right over there, taking a picture of us, and there we are on the screen. And here is Michelle. Michelle, 6 years you've been working on breakfast television.
I know.
Did you always want to be in TV?
I did. I started out in radio, and then, but my goal was always to be on television, and breakfast television, perfect place to work, mainly because of the people. I love you guys.
Awesome.
Family, yeah.
So we're in your little hub here. What do you got?
This is like the bridge of the Starship Enterprise, Dawn. This is where all the, I load the cameras for the report, like you can sort of see right here. And sometimes I freak my buddy Carl out in robotics when I don't put those in there, and he has to sort of guess where I'm going.
So when you're yelling, "Hey, Carl, can we put that camera?"
That's right.
We'll meet Carl coming up a bit later, but let's talk about when we hear that clomp, 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 clomp.
Yes, okay.
So you're running through here.
I'm running through here. You got to watch the hazards, right? It's like a little mini obstacle course. And then, Dawn, we run over here. Watch your step. Don't want to trip on that.
And those heels.
Yeah. Oh, come on. I'm short. I'm like, I bump my head on coffee tables without these things on. So this is the green screen, which I don't have to tell you much about. You've worked in front of these for a long time. But yeah, this is what's behind me. So I guess when it looks like I'm looking at the map, I'm not. I'm seeing it right there in that monitor. See how that works?
And there you are.
Yeah.
What time do you get up in the morning? A lot of people want to know, what time do you get up in the morning?
My alarm clock goes off at 3:15, but I got to be honest, I hit snooze probably 3 or 4 times before I get out of bed.
And is there anything that our viewers might be surprised to learn about you?
You know, you asked me that earlier, and I was trying to think, and I realized I have no mystery. I'm an open book on this show. Maybe I need to start holding things back, but no, pretty much what you see is what you get.
Truly an open book. I think that's one of the best parts about working on breakfast television. Jody and Riaz, we heard a little bit about how sometimes she puts Carl on the spot. Hey, Carl, can you pull up that shot of the whatever, the whatever? We're going to meet Carl coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. Behind the scenes, breakfast television.
Gotta go in the control room.
Oh yeah, get in the control room. Watch how things happen.
happen.
The magic does happen in there. We get to be out here and play TV. They work in there.
We have a traffic report by Michelle McDermott. We hear, "Hey, Carl, can you switch that camera? We need this camera." Who is this mysterious Carl? We will meet him. We're in the control room coming up next. BT, behind the scenes. We'll be right back.
Ready, see.
We get to meet Carl now, or at least introduce him to all of our viewers, right, Dawn?
Who knew that Disney had access to our Carl? Carl, really, you were the inspiration, I'm sure, for Phineas and Ferb.
Sure. I'm sure that's well, what can I say? We're still in contract negotiations for a second sequel.
I love it. You've been with Citytv for 19 years. You've done a few different things, but you are in robotics now. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay. Well, this is we have 6 studio cameras. 4 of them are robotic cameras. This is the touch screen for the robotics. This is camera 1, camera 2. This is Russ right here and Michelle. So these are all saved shots. These are the joysticks for the controls that allow you to pan, tilt, zoom, focus, and I'm able to select which camera I want. So that's this here, and then we have the traffic cameras. We have some beauty cameras. So there's probably altogether about 20 cameras we look after.
Wow, you must need a special license for that. You know, Michelle periodically, as we mentioned, goes, "Hey, Carl, can you on the fly do something?" Does that upset you? Is that your pet peeve?
Michelle, who's Michelle? I'm not familiar. She's the woman that does traffic?
She sure is. Don't worry. We'll make a special introduction. By the way, Nelson, we need to show Vivian because she hates being on television. So let's show her really quickly. I think you're going to catch the back of her. There she is. Oh, Vivian. All right, let's make our way to the control room again where the producer sits. We're going to meet the front row of the control room coming up with celebrations. Of course, that's where Al, our director, is. But let's chat with Kyle. You all recognize Kyle as the news anchor between 5:30 and about 6:30.
Sure.
About 6:30? I don't know. I don't get up that early.
It's all about, yeah, it must be nice. Must be really nice. Somebody has to get in early.
Tell us a little bit about what you do in your producer role here.
Well, the job of the producer really is to kind of steer this bus from crashing off the side of a cliff here. So basically, I have to look at the rundown and time the show out so that we end every single day at 9 a.m. so Tracy Moore with Cityline can come on. I'm the one that's telling Riaz and Jody and you and Michelle and Russ to wrap it up and move on to the next thing.
So what happens when we don't, quote unquote, stay to time? As, of course, I just got my time cue right now.
Well, no, we can give this more time. This can go long. This can go long. Just take time out of traffic. We'll just drop. You know what? Let's just drop traffic.
Michelle, we're just going to drop
Yeah.
traffic just like that. And, you know, this is clearly more important, right? And by the way, we do need to make an introduction to you with Carl, because you do ask Carl a lot. You know, you ask of him a lot of things, so we need to put you in touch with him a little bit later.
Okay, that sounds good. Apparently, you can tell how popular I am in this.
Clock's ticking, Michelle. Clock's ticking.
See, I'm already getting wrapped.
Go.
With someone who's worked with Citytv for 6 years, she's done everything from promotions to actually the live eye as well.
That is right. Yeah.
And now she is the queen of social media for Breakfast Television. So when you tweet us, when you Facebook us, this is the gal. Tell us a little bit about how you have, I guess this is your job. A lot of people do it for pleasure.
Yes. So essentially, I do the social media here. Get in every morning, check out what's trending online, figure out who's tweeted us overnight, what's kind of like topical in Vancouver.
What generates the most interest that surprises you?
Well, it's funny. People just want to know about us. So the best social media threads that we ever have is behind the scenes. Like if you and Jody wear the same outfit in the day, or like if Kyle is wearing a funny tie that people want to comment on. It's always like, or just like saucy stuff. Would you rathers? It's fun.
The lighter side of
The
things.
lighter side of things, yes, for sure.
Excellent. Well, the live eye, we're keeping it light. Coming up next, do you mind teasing what we got going up? Coming up next, we will meet our music man, Freddie. We're going to audio up next. BT Behind the Scenes. We'll be right back. And you know, a lot of people might think that, and I consider him this, he's almost like an extra host because he's a host we don't see, but the music is such a huge part of Breakfast Television, as our viewers know, because many times on social media, they will comment on our music and how it often will tie into what's happening in the show. So Freddie, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. Oh, wow.
Hi there. Hi, Ma.
This isn't the first time you've been on television, though.
Yeah, first time.
Wow.
Hi, Ma.
All right, so you do the audio here. You basically give us all the... I can hear the control room laughing in here. This is funny. How do you pick the music for the show?
Oh, well, you know, it's not easy. You have to pay attention to what's going on. Sometimes, you know, it's to do with what the hosts are talking about, what's going on in the show, what's coming up next. You never know. And sometimes when I can't think of a song, I look to you, Dawn.
Oh, my... Why
There
do
you
you
are.
have that here?
It's inspiration.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so you obviously have a huge library of music that you get to pick from, and I'm actually surprised that many times on the Live Eye, something will happen, and it's literally within 10 seconds you've got something that is relevant. How much do you research before the show? How much happens on the fly?
Just about everything happens on the fly, to be honest. And you know, if something happens and someone wants something real quick, it's just spin around, find that song, and then hit it and go. And
Okay,
that's it.
so we've got all these buttons here. I can't even begin to know where you start. Do you actually use all of these buttons?
Of course, all these buttons and more. You don't even know. There's buttons beyond these buttons, behind these buttons.
So you're in charge of pushing all the buttons, literally.
Pushing everybody's buttons.
Okay, we're going to go to break here. Our behind the scenes does continue. We do have celebrations coming up next. We're going to meet the front row of the control room, including Al, our director, and Jolene, who is our PA. And by the way, Jolene, I do need celebrations sent to me. Can we help? Can I help with going to break here?
Yeah.
All right, you pick the song, and where's the button I go?
This one right here, Don, you're going to slide that up.
All the way?
And hit it.
Good job.
There you go.
The behind the scenes, how the show actually comes together on Breakfast Television. So we're going to meet the front row. I'm thinking the front row's got to be pretty important. We've got Grant here. Grant, how long have you been with Breakfast Television?
Since 1897, I think.
1897. Well, of course, BT's only been around about 10 or 11 years, but for Citytv, how long have you been around?
Well, all of Citytv. Well, I've been at the station for 32 years.
Short
actually.
answer, Grant.
32 years.
32 years. You're our technical director. What exactly are you responsible for that would make sense to our viewers? When they see something happen at home, what are you responsible for?
Any of the video cutting. So dissolving between cameras, cutting to you, putting keys or printing on the bottom of the screen, that's all done here.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Grant, for all your years of service. It's always fun to work with you. And of course, the guy who is in charge, our director, we've got Al Klein. Al, when I'm out there, and even in here, I'm hearing you go, cut to this, cut to that, dissolve. And on top of it, you have time to laugh at what's happening on the show. You're paying attention to the show and to have conversations. How do you do it?
It's sometimes difficult. The biggest thing is you just have to have a relaxed attitude. Take it as it comes. Things change on the fly. You never know what's going to happen. So don't get too worked up about it and just look at what's in front of you and pick something.
And speaking of what's in front of you, you've got all of these screens What's coming up next that you would want to draw attention to our viewers to point out?
Well, what we'll do after we finish in here is you're going to do a throwback to Riaz and Jody. So at this point, I'd be looking for their camera on the monitor wall there, camera 2, and I would say to Grant, okay, stand by for the 2-box effect. So he's got that set up on the monitor, and when you do the throw, I say take, he cuts to it, and there's Riaz Jody.
All right, we're going to do that in a second, but we got to meet someone else very, very important. Our Jolene. Jolene, how long have you been working with City?
8 years now.
8 years, and what do you do?
I'm the PA. I do all the timing, and I give all the hosts all their cues. I press little buttons here. So right now I'm going to tell Dawn it's time to wrap up. And then I'm going to tell Jody and Riaz, you guys are standing by.
So I guess that means I have to wrap up. Jody and Riaz, stand by, and let's hear Al give his call.
Ready boxes and take boxes.
The magic of television. Look at that.
He is Vancouver's favorite meteorologist, certainly on breakfast television. News 1130's Russ Lacate. What can we learn about him that we don't already know? Plus, you'll hear his live report from News 1130 coming up next on breakfast television. We'll be right back. Exactly, and back to the pie in the face. That happened to me. Kyle Donaldson pied me in the face several years ago. It's one of the most viewed videos.
I'm not on board with this at all. No.
You don't think you want to do that, hey?
Well, I think someone will pick Riaz, I'm sure.
You know, we are here, of course, in your area here at the weather station. Familiar to me as well. We're going to find out.
Welcome home.
Well, thank you very much. Let's talk a little bit about the challenges of going from radio to television, because you've now been here for what, 3-4 years?
Yeah, it's busy. Yeah, it's sort of on the go all the time, but the morning just blazes on by, so it's fun.
And so, how do you feel about being in front of this green screen here?
It was really disorienting at first. I had no idea whether I was pointing left hand, right hand, just completely lost. So that's why I stand like a wooden guy. I'm kind of wooden, yeah.
I love it. Okay, so now we got the satellite behind you. Of course, this is an area, too, that you prepare the graphics, right?
This is my Weather Central computer that I prepare all of the graphics that you see in the background, and I get here early in the morning and sort of piece together a number of slides that you get to view throughout the day. Keeps it interesting as much as we can.
Busiest guy in television and radio, because in mere moments, I believe...
listening in the background. I got my headphones cranked up in the other room.
Let's make our way into there. Do you have to have your watch synced exactly? Because, for me, I'm like, I don't know what time you're up.
Well, have I missed it before? Yeah, I've missed it a couple times before.
So right now you're listening.
I can hear Jen Coles right now. She's doing traffic on News 1130. Yeah, and then she'll pass it to Tammy Moyer, who's one of our news anchors, and Tammy will introduce me. So we're probably coming up in about 30 seconds, give or take.
So obviously you've got are these charts here? What are you going to be looking at?
Yeah, I'm just looking at a satellite photo here, which is sort of mirroring what we see on the TV, but this one's more high resolution. There we are sort of in Metro Vancouver around the Lower Mainland. And generally, Dawn, I'm looking at all these weather charts. You layer a whole bunch of them together, you get a real spaghetti chart is what we call them. It just gives you an idea of what the expected changes in some of the atmospheric conditions are going to be over the next few days. And from that, we just throw the dart and try to figure out the forecast.
Well, back when I did weather, of course, it was all about looking, many of us that aren't meteorologists look at Environment Canada. You were actually creating a forecast. This is a big difference.
Which means I get the blame when it doesn't work out, but yes.
Oh, so you're one of the guys I used to blame. Are you coming up right away?
Soon enough. I can still hear Jen talking right now.
Did you always want to be? Did you always want to be a meteorologist?
No. You know what? I graduated from UBC in geophysics, so I was totally the science nerd, the physics nerd, if you will. But ended up in meteorology, and it's all played out nicely.
So for anyone that's at home that thinks, man, I would like to be like Russ when I grow up, all the kids that are out there.
Yeah, and there's so many of them that are thinking like that.
Well, I would think so. I would think so.
Math and sciences, kids, stay in school.
Math and science is key, but also being on television, there's a whole different level of personality that has to come out.
That was never part of the plan for me. Honestly, I'm terrified of being on TV every day. Thank goodness I have beautiful Dawn here to sort of take most of the glow away, right? Doesn't that help out?
Oh my goodness! But then going into radio, obviously you have to be able to express that personality from an audio perspective.
Tammy's going to talk to me here.
Okay, so let's listen in.
Oh, you are in my world, aren't you?
So right now,
so can we just wrap this radio thing up as quickly as we can here?
Just having a conversation with him right now.
I have all the time in the world for you, Tammy. All the time in the world. Okay, well, for today, it's going to stay dry. So you could actually take it to the beach today because the clouds are rolling in, but it's a high UV index. The sun will filter through that veil of cloud. The high's about 20 today. Rain comes this evening. Maybe not time to spoil your barbecue, but definitely wet tonight. And tomorrow, a few showers, about 16. For the weekend, I'm going to say half and half. So get out there and enjoy the sun on Saturday, about 18. By Sunday, a chance for armchair storm chasers to watch out for thunder showers. Sunday's high's about 17. Now, right now around the region, we've got 15 in North Van. It is 18 downtown and 16 at the airport, and the guaranteed high today is 20.
Are y'all done?
Yes.
Guaranteed highs 20. And by the way, just recently you gave away a big jackpot.
I did 15 grand and change. Yes, that's the biggest one I've ever given away, Dawn.
So when you sign your
That pains
contract,
me.
is it one of those things where you have some sort of rider that says, I am not responsible for...
You know, that came up initially when we talked about it. It was, will I pay if I'm wrong? And I said, as long as you pay me every time I'm right. And that kind of killed that conversation.
Well, tell you what, this guy is right a whole lot. We've got more weather coming up with you after the break. You're going to give us something a little different than what you offer
you
for
realize
radio, right?
that stuff for News 1130, that's just that's filler. Oh, yeah, we saved the good stuff for BT.
That's coming up next. Stay with us. You're watching BT. Russ, with your final weather forecast.
And we have so enjoyed the behind the scenes this morning.
Well, you know, for anyone that watches at home, I mean, theoretically, we hope everything always goes off without a hitch. But you know what? A show like this cannot happen without, you know, so many people. And not even just the ones we focus. There's so many that are still we haven't met. But it truly is a special thing that we have the experience of having every single day.
Thanks, crew. All
Thanks,
right.
Freddie, for being so awesome.
All right. Russ is going to finally look at weather forecast, and then we'll get Russ in the control room, too.
You guys know that Freddie is my brother from another mother, right? Because every song he plays is already on the track in my car. It's
You
it's
and me
all in
together,
there.
Russ.
It's awesome, yeah.
You know the one, I guess two people we barely saw, Brian and Dirk, they're always on the floor with us.
Freddie, where's Freddie?
Nelson.
Oh, see, long morning. Hello. There's Dirk.
Yeah.
And here's Brian. Don't blame him, he's a Bruins fan.
It's good lighting.
7:05, 8:05. We're
Well.
giving these away tomorrow morning. We'll announce winner at 8:35. See you Friday.
See ya.